So I'm going to try to show everyone how the controls work for a Logitech G29 specifically. I'm sure this applies to other wheels and stuff on PlayStation. This is PS4 or PS5. It shouldn't make any difference. So the settings I run, and sometimes these change as far as the sensitivities at the bottom here go, but just for the top here, this new configuration was added just recently, and it gives you the opportunity to move the the reset car now, not move it, but you can actually have it now on the square button on the right side you'll see over there, as well as a tear off button on the triangle. I prefer this one to have reset on a wheel because it's been since the game's been out, you've not had that opportunity, and two, because tear offs on the left side actually create an issue for me where when I press the button, it actually looks around also at the same time. So personally, this is the way I would go. Automatic transmission only, which is not a problem for me. I don't run uh, manual shifting on any of the cars. I'm not even sure if it's an option on any of them other than maybe street stocks, but I don't run those. Um, let's see, effect strength. This is personal preference. This is up to how much you want to run it, how much feedback you want out of the wheel. Personally, I like a lot of feedback. I'm a bigger guy, so for me, running 80 strength is not a big deal to do that consistently for a whole night of racing. But you may want less, and it may affect you a little bit less when you're in the turns, hitting little bumps, getting run into, tapping the wall, stuff like that. This is personal preference. Impact effects, I like these off. I don't like having the extra feedback when I get bumped into or I hit walls. It throws me off a lot more. I prefer this off. Centering spring, I want this on. This brings the wheel back to center. So for instance, if you're turned to the left, it pulls it back to center for you, which to me is beneficial. I feel like I'm constantly fighting the car a little bit. It gives me a little feedback to come back to. I don't end up sawing on the wheel quite as much with this on. Also personal preference, you don't have to run it that way. It's just something I prefer to have. Steering dead zones, these will be set at 0. There's no point in having these because on my wheel I don't have any issues with what would be called stick drift, I suppose, on a controller. The wheel doesn't have that, as well as the throttle and brake and clutch. I don't have those problems, so I leave these at 0. Our steering sensitivities, or I mean our sensitivity ranges here in steering for brake and throttle. Um, Steering range 30 is for me. What that allows me to do, and I'll show you, you can hit the options here in the test sensitivity, and we'll run it at 30. So when I turn the wheel 90 degrees, which is not even quite 90 degrees, right around 10 o'clock, I'm at full turn here. That's about 10 o'clock. If I turn that up, I'll show you here. Now I'm at 10 o'clock, and that's how far my steering range is. Um, this is full turn, which is 180 degrees straight down, so this would be 6 o'clock. I don't I don't want to have to turn my wheel that far to get full steering range out of the vehicle. So for that reason, I run 30. That's where I like my steering range to be. It's like where I want, right around where I want the wheel to be when I'm full turn. This is a little bit of personal preference, although I will say running somewhere below probably 50, really below 40 is most likely the best option for you. Uh, but that's what I run. Changed it there. Steering sensitivity. So this, I have it set at 45. This is how fast, you'll see that steering dot move. This is how fast that dot moves. So your steering wheel affects the actual rate of the vehicle turning. So if we turn this all the way up from 45 to 100, now I'm barely touching this wheel, which I know you can't see, but I mean, I can't even get centered. I'm trying to touch center and it will not do it. So you'll constantly be fighting the car at 100 on a wheel. There's no point in running that. Um, 45 I feel like gives me the perfect amount. Um, it doesn't get caught in the middle, which I will show you. unless they've updated this recently, when you go lower than that, it kind of sticks in the middle. So right now I'm center. When I pull forward to the left and go back to the right, it'll get stuck. It lags for a second, and it feels like it doesn't follow my wheel correctly. So 45 for me, perfect. I feel like I can follow that dot straight to the sensitivity of my wheel. Everything looks right, works right for me. Your brake range. This is, so I'll push it all the way in, and I'll show you here. So this is full range of the brake. Now, if I change this, I'm gonna hold that brake pedal, and I'm gonna go to 100. I'm sorry, the other way. I'll go to 0, sorry. That's pushed all the way down. And you have to push it fully. Like, I mean, you have to push it harder than you need to get full brake range out of that. And so I want it to stop somewhere right around here. So usually 40 is about right for me. See, I was even a little off there, so it may even be worth going 45. So anyway, 45%, that feels good to me. I prefer it this way. Uh, I want a little more brake, but I don't want to have to punch it all the way to the floor, and I also don't want it to be, uh, I don't want to have to push it all the way to the floor. I also don't want to have to barely push it to get all brake. I want it somewhere in between. A little bit of personal preference here as well. Throttle range. So I have this set to 0. If we go here, so I'll hold this at 50%, and I'll back out of this, and we'll go to 100 here. Now you can see that the throttle is full. Now I'm still holding the pedal at 50%. So what that means is if your throttle range is 100, you don't have to push the pedal as far in to get full throttle. I personally don't like that. I want more throttle range. I want more range in my throttle. I want more opportunity to hold it in a sweet spot in the turn. So if I can hold it at 50, I hold it at 50. If I want to hold it at 3/4 or higher, I don't have to guess that's where I'm at. It's wherever I'm pushing the pedal is where it's at, and it's linear. It's exactly where it needs to be. That's how I prefer it. So throttle range, I highly recommend you run this at 0. I don't see any point in running anything other than that because you want the full accessibility of this throttle, and that's the option that I run. So P2 controls, I'm not sure this makes a big difference. I run 900 anyway. I have not seen a change when I change these effects versus the other. I've seen some stuff online that says maybe that this can affect the P1 controls. So I've gone in and changed and made this all the same as well. I don't think it matters, but just in case, I've come in here and I've changed this stuff up. Audio settings, that's not really part of this video, so it's not necessary. That's where I'm at. That should be an explanation of everything. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. I'll try to answer it for you. And thanks.